player who bit an opponent, a prince who stormed the pitch, a dog who evaded an entire national team, and a man who was murdered 10 days after missing a game. The World Cup isn't just about goals. These are the 10 strangest, darkest, and most unbelievable things that ever happened on football's biggest stage. Let's count them down. Number 10. The Bogota Bracelet, 1970. Before the 1970 World Cup, England's captain Bobby Moore stopped into a jewellery shop in Bogota with teammate Bobby Charlton. Minutes later, a shop assistant accused Moore of stealing a 12-carat emerald bracelet. England's captain, one of the most respected men in football, was placed under house arrest, locked in a room while the British government and Colombian authorities clashed behind closed doors. He was released just days before the tournament began, played the opening match as if nothing happened, and was fully cleared 2 years later. To this day, no one has ever explained what really happened in that shop, with many believing it was a deliberate setup to unnerve the reigning world champions. Number 9. The coin toss that decided a nation's fate, 1954. In 1954, Spain and Turkey finished their qualifying group dead level. Same points, same goal difference, after a brutal playoff match in Rome. There were no penalty shootouts back then. FIFA's solution? A blindfolded 14-year-old Italian boy named Luigi Franco Gemma, drawing lots from a hat. Turkey's name came out. Spain went home. Turkey went to the World Cup. One of football's biggest nations, boasting legends like Laszlo Kubala, was eliminated not by a ball, but by the hands of an innocent child and a piece of paper. Number 8. Garrincha and the Dog, 1962. Mid-match, Brazil versus England in 1962. A stray black dog wandered onto the pitch and refused to leave. It dodged every player who tried to grab it, leaving the world's best defenders chasing shadows like it was born to dribble. Finally, England's Jimmy Greaves caught it by dropping to his hands and knees and barking back at it. The dog's reward? It urinated all over Greaves's white shirt. And there were no spares back then, forcing him to play the rest of the quarter-finals smelling of dog pee. Brazil's superstar Garrincha found the whole thing so funny he could barely play on. After the match, the dog was raffled off among Brazil's players. Garrincha won. He named it B, short for back-to-back champions, and took it home to his village for good. Number 7. The whistle that stopped a goal, 1982. Kuwait, playing in their first ever World Cup in 1982, were battling France when a spectator in the crowd blew a loud, piercing whistle. Kuwait's players, thinking the referee had stopped play, simply stopped moving. France did not. Alain Giresse slotting the ball into the net. Furious, Prince Fahid, the head of the Kuwaiti Football Association, walked straight onto the pitch with his bodyguards to confront the Soviet referee, threatening to pull his team out of the tournament. Incredibly, the referee caved to the royal pressure and actually disallowed the goal. France still won 4-2. The prince was fined, and the referee never worked another World Cup match again. Number 6. The man who kicked the ball away from his own team, 1974. Zaire were already losing 3-0 to Brazil in 1974 when a free kick was being lined up just outside their box by Rivellino. Suddenly, defender Mwepu Ilunga broke from the wall, ran toward the ball, and booted it as far away as he could before Brazil could even touch it. The world laughed. The commentators mocked them, calling it a display of tactical ignorance. It wasn't. Reports later revealed that Zaire's brutal dictator, Mobutu Sese Seko, had sent his henchmen to the team hotel before the match with a terrifying ultimatum. Lose by 4 goals or more, and you won't be allowed home alive. Brazil scored no more. Ilunga's bizarre clearance saved their lives. Number 5. The trophy that vanished. Twice, 1966 and 1983. The original World Cup trophy, the Jules Rimet Cup, was stolen in England just months before the 1966 tournament, while on display at Westminster Central Hall. It was found a week later wrapped in old newspaper by a black and white mongrel dog named Pickles, sniffing under a garden hedge in South London. Pickles became a national hero. 17 years later, in Brazil, the trophy was stolen again from a display case in Rio de Janeiro. This time, there was no heroic dog. It was never seen again, likely melted down for its solid gold by the thieves. The original World Cup trophy no longer exists. Number 4. The night before the final, 1974. The night before the 1974 final, a German tabloid allegedly bribed hotel security to let several naked women into the Dutch team's pool area. Then sent in undercover photographers to catch the scandal on camera. The story exploded across German newspapers overnight, leading to an infamous, hours-long phone call where Dutch captain Johan Cruyff had to desperately convince his furious wife he had done nothing wrong. The next day, the Netherlands, the undisputed favourites of total football, looked exhausted, distracted, and lost the final 2-1 to West Germany. To this day, players and fans still argue about how much that psychological trap actually cost them the trophy. Number 3. The Hand of God, 1986. 1986, Argentina versus England, a quarter-final fueled by the political tension of the Falklands War. Diego Maradona rose for a header against England's towering goalkeeper Peter Shilton and punched the ball into the net with his fist. The referee, blinded by the sun, somehow missed it. The goal stood. Minutes later, the very same man scored what's still called the goal of the century, embarking on a 60-yard, 10-second dash that left 5 England players in the dust. Afterward, Maradona explained the controversial opener simply: a little with the head of Maradona, and a little with the hand of God. Number 2. The headbutt that ended a career, 2006. 2006 World Cup final, extra time. Zinedine Zidane, playing the final game of his legendary career, suddenly turns, walks back toward Italy's Marco Materazzi, and headbutts him square in the chest, knocking him to the turf. Red card. Zidane walks past the World Cup trophy in complete silence, his career ending in disgrace on football's biggest stage. For a decade, the world wondered what words could provoke such madness. Then, 10 years later, Materazzi finally admitted the truth. After a brief shirt-tugging argument, he had deeply insulted Zidane's sister. Without their captain, France lost the final on penalties. Number 1. The goal that got a man killed, 1994. This is the darkest story in World Cup history. At the 1994 World Cup, Colombian defender Andrés Escobar accidentally sliced a cross into his own net against the USA. Colombia, tipped by Pelé himself to win the entire tournament, was shockingly eliminated in the group stage. 10 days later, back home in Medellin, Escobar was cornered in a parking lot outside a nightclub. An argument broke out, a gun was drawn, and Escobar was shot 6 times. Witnesses say the gunman, connected to Colombia's powerful drug cartels who had lost millions in gambling bets, shouted "Goal" with every shot fired. He was just 27 years old. More than 120,000 heartbroken people attended his funeral. To this day, his death remains one of the most haunting reminders that football, for some people, was never just a game. From a dog winning a raffle to a tragedy that shook an entire country, the World Cup has given us more than goals and trophies. It's given us stories that are almost impossible to believe. If you want more untold football history like this, subscribe to Footnote, because the best stories are always in the footnotes.